I feel like there's a common misconception that as humans, we need to be well rounded, that we need to develop a diverse skill set that applies to different aspects of life. We need to be well read and educated, know everything about finance, politics, and sports, have multiple hobbies, have a complex social life, and so many other things that we constantly feel like we're being pulled in a thousand directions. But being well rounded isn't for everyone. Let's talk about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is probably the least well rounded person on the internet. From the outside, it may seem like he has it all: money, fame, multiple businesses, and the ability to single handedly redevelop the entire African continent. Wow, what a well rounded guy. But I have a secret for you: Mr. Beast isn't well rounded at all. In fact, he's the complete opposite. He's a specialist. See, there are two approaches to how you learn and build things in the modern era: the generalist and the specialist. The generalist is someone who seems to have it all, the jack of all trades, if you will. These people have a wide range of skills and understanding about a bunch of different topics, and most of the time, those topics are completely random. This is the guy who owns two businesses, one that sells sardines and one that builds gyms. The guy who could connect the dots between finance and politics and do the yard work, the housework, and fix the car while painting a beautiful painting and going wakeboarding on the weekend. This archetype is what most people these days strive to be. Everyone wants to be interesting and well-rounded with a diverse set of hobbies, a crazy mix of friends, eclectic music taste, and multiple passions. It seems like the more exciting way to do things, but, well, it has some severe flaws. But to tell you about the downsides of being a generalist, I need to tell you about the other path, the specialist. This is Mr. Beast. You want to know what Mr. Beast's hobbies are? YouTube. Do you want to know what his passions are? YouTube. What does his week consist of? YouTube. What does he learn about in his free time and talk about in his free time? You guessed it, YouTube. And because of this, he is by far the biggest and most well-known YouTuber on the planet. And he is probably the least well-rounded person on the entire platform. See, this approach is interesting because it isn't the one that people usually talk about. It's not as glamorous as being a jack of all trades. Mr. Beast found the one thing that he was good at and doubled down on it. Quadrupled down on it, really. He put every waking hour into absorbing as much knowledge as possible about YouTube and excelled miles past all of his competition. And to me, this proves that you don't need to be well-rounded. Because while being well-rounded is the ultimate goal for most people, it comes with some major downsides. First of all, people who try to put their hands into everything usually end up being mediocre at all of those things. You can't go out and party every weekend and stay healthy. It's just impossible. When I was in college, I was trying to be the president of a club, trying to get straight A's in school, run a successful YouTube channel, live a vibrant and interesting social life, spend time with family, and be consistent in the gym. And it kind of seemed like I was doing that. People seemed to think I was an interesting person and was very well-rounded, and the look on people's faces when they realized everything I was doing seemed to show that the well-rounded person was the one that people desired. But I have a confession. I absolutely sucked at being the president of my organization. I was making average grades in college, uploading once per month on YouTube, struggling to keep up with all of my social obligations, being frustrated when I was with family because I wasn't working, and slacking severely in the gym. In fact, my channel completely stagnated around my senior year. I got fired from the president position and lost pretty much all of my gym progress that I'd been trying so hard to achieve. I became mediocre at everything because I was trying too hard to be well-rounded. I had so much progress to make in every single direction that I was just lacking in every regard. And I was ignoring what I was naturally good at, YouTube, for the things that I wanted to be. And, well, it wasted a lot of time. The specialists, on the other hand, would have focused almost entirely on the one thing that they wanted to accomplish. Maybe that version of me would have spent 2 hours a day in the gym and would be in insanely good shape by now, or maybe I would have graduated with honors. Who knows? Well, not me, because I was spread so thin that I accomplished none of the things that I tried at and was mediocre with pretty much all of them. Again, that's why Mr. Beast has managed to become the most successful YouTuber on the planet in a crazy short amount of time. He focused nearly all of his energy into one goal, and the man ate, slept, and breathed YouTube. And now he's reaping the rewards. Let me give you an analogy to make this more interesting. A well-rounded person would be like a smooth river stone. One of those pretty rocks that you find in the river and maybe you take home because of how cool it looks. This person has rounded edges because of their varied knowledge and skills, which makes them super adaptable and easy to get along with. And this stone has a ton of different uses. It could be used to skip across water, or build a rock path in a garden, or countless other things. Nobody's ever going to clash with the smooth rock. The specialist, however, would be a jagged, spiky rock that may not be as easy to get along with, but has a ton of practical value. This rock has a specific purpose, whether it's used to break through a tough barrier or to make some sort of crazy tool like an arrowhead or a spear. The rock's value is put heavily in one direction, making it point at the end and giving it very specific use cases. You wouldn't want to use the smooth stone for the spear because it just wouldn't work very well. That spiky rock isn't as well-rounded, but it's the most effective thing to use for the one job it's needed for. Not everyone's gonna like the spiky rock, sure, but the ones who do are gonna absolutely love it for how useful and efficient it is. It's exactly what they need. So, to tie this full circle, because of my slacking in college, I've come to the conclusion that the spiky route is a lot easier than the smooth one. And, well, sharing this knowledge can be extremely useful if you feel like you aren't really making progress in any direction. Instead of trying to be well-rounded, become a specialist. Find the thing that you're passionate about, the thing that you're good at, and focus a ton of energy into becoming the best that you can in that regard. My friend Chase isn't the most well-rounded guy I've ever met, but when it comes to playing the guitar, he is one of the best guitar players I've ever met. And he wouldn't have gotten so good at the guitar if he was also trying to become a master of other hobbies. Which brings me to the other downside of being well-rounded. It makes it hard to stand out. Sure, there's a sort of novelty to being well-rounded and cool, and it's great to talk about all your different hobbies and interests. But none of those things really stick. If someone's looking for the best software engineer they can find, and you're telling them about how you used to code right before you became an accountant and eventually opened your craft coffee bar, you probably aren't going to get the position. Sure, you may know a lot about coding, but you're going to be forgotten about the second that the guy with 30 years of coding experience walks in the door. That guy stands out among the crowd because he was so hyper-focused and consistent on one thing that he became a standout developer and got the job. People may come to him at any time when they have a software engineering problem, and he's 100% going to be able to fix it every single time without fail. Elon Musk stands out for his insane level of business expertise and innovation, but do people look at him as the ultimate role model for people looking to improve their social skills? Absolutely not. In fact, his social skills are terrible. And the reason why is because he became the sharpest rock that he could in the field of business and science and ignored the social aspect. That's the beauty of being a specialist, and that's why I think you don't need to be a well-rounded person. Focusing on what you enjoy and are good at is a great way to live a fulfilling life and to be proud of your work. And if you can find that thing, you should give the specialist route a try and see how quickly you can improve and reach your goals. So, what do you think? Do you think there's still value in being well-rounded, or do you see my point? Let's continue this discussion in the comments, and we'll talk again soon.